Here's your Premiership Round 5 preview then. And every single match in the Premiership is so consequential because there's only 10 teams. That means the regular season is 18 matches. And by the end of next weekend, we'll have had 6. This first block of 6 games is 1/3 of the entire regular season. It's like we're not far away from halfway. There are 2 more rounds of games, including this weekend, before the league breaks for the best part of a month for the end of year tests. So these games are really, really important. Tell me your comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. I'd love it if I would earn your subscription. I'm Tim and this is Egg Chasers. And the first game up, we've got Newcastle Falcons against the Exeter Chiefs. A basement battle. The 2 bottom sides going head to head. Can one of them, well, unless it's a draw, one of them is going to get their first win of the season. Falcons, I would just say actually, Newcastle Falcons, they deserve to lose for the font that they use on their team sheet alone. I know money's tight at Newcastle and they're using every penny they can to get what players they can get out on the field, but there's no excuse for using... Now, I'll tell you what the problem is. It's not just that they use that font, it's the fact you've got 2 different fonts. One for the team and one for the replacements. So, I mean, that's unforgivable in my book. I'm jesting, obviously. There's not going to be any relegation in the Premiership this year. As much as they've been talking about, oh yes, we're going to have promotion and relegation. Yes, we're reintroducing it this year. There's only one club that actually qualify for the criteria that the Premiership have set for promotion relegation, and they've lost a couple of games already of Doncaster Knights, so it's unlikely that they're going to finish top. So, I mean, that's a bad thing for the league, in my opinion, because it means that this game feels like it really matters because one of these teams is kind of going to be adrift at the bottom with very little hope of probably getting to the playoffs. Whoever loses this game, I know Newcastle don't have much chance of the playoffs anyway, but just later in the season, these games could get less and less meaningful. And yeah, so I really, really want promotion relegation to become a thing in the Premiership again. Over to Exeter Chiefs. Leadership is one thing that they're lacking. They absolutely blew it against Bristol. They played some great rugby and then just imploded in the space of about 10-15 minutes. And it was at the moment where 2 of their leaders, Jack Yendall and Jacques Vermeulen, went off of the field. And they've got a load of youngsters. They've got I'd say not good enough halfback pairing. And those things combined have made their season quite a tough one with no Henry Slade there at the helm to steer the ship in midfield. I think they will win. Tough trip for them to go on. It's right in the deep depth of the southwest, going up to the northeast. Chris Chunza, Greg Fisselau on the bench. They've got some awesome youngsters. I think eventually Chiefs will come good. And I think the start of that resurgence is going to be Friday night. They will get the full 5 points. And I'm going to say Newcastle, they'll fight. They'll hang in the game probably for the first half, but they'll probably end up with 0 points. So from the basement battle and the 2 poorest teams to an absolute box office matchup. The 2, I don't know, yeah, West London, that part of Twickenham, lovely part of the world. All the people going around in their mustard chinos and Barber jackets. And it's the same in Bath. It's like for want of a better word, the posh boys of the Premiership. And I can say that because I lived in Bath. I was a student there and I bought my first house in Bath. Lovely, lovely place. And what a box office matchup. 2 Rolls-Royce fly halves on show, Finn Russell and Marcus Smith. It's worth the entrance fee for that alone. But look at the other matchups that there could be in this one. Finn Baxter against Thomas du Toit. Thomas du Toit trying to get into the Springbok front row. Finn Baxter trying to get into the England front row. Finn Baxter could really make a statement if he does a job on Thomas du Toit. You've got Ted Hill. What more does he have to do to get in the England squad? He's got an opportunity to prove why Steve Borthwick is so wrong. Will Evans for the Quins, possibly exactly the same. You've got Ben Spencer and Marcus Smith against each other. They might be England's halfback pairing for the end of year tests. So this is as box office as the Premiership gets. And this game is why the Premiership is brilliant. I actually think I've just got a feeling about Quins on this one. So I think Quins could win at home with their crowd. I think it'll be really, really close and could go either way. I'm going to go 4 points for Quins, a bonus point defeat for Bath. But I could see that one going the other way. Looking forward to Northampton Saints against Sale Sharks. This one is a Friday night game, and this league is all about matchups. You've got different styles of play, and one team can match up really well against one side one week, and then not match up very well the next week against another side. And that's one of the tactical elements that makes this league so interesting. I think Northampton Saints, they've got an incredible backline that can shred teams. They don't match up very well with teams that really pile loads of their money into the forward pack, which is exactly what Leicester Tigers do. And Leicester Tigers pulverised Northampton last week. And the thing about that is Sale Sharks are built very similarly. They've got most of their money, a majority of their money, invested in the forward pack, which will have, going to Franklin's Gardens, Tom Curry, Ben Curry, Dan Dupree as the back row, with some big old units, Luke Cowan-Dickey in the front row as well. And Northampton Saints, for all of their class in the back line, and they have loads of it, without Courtney Laws, without Lewis Ludlam, without Alex Waller, they lack a bit of experience and steel in their pack. And I think for that reason, Sale might come out of Northampton with what's a really tricky win there. Although Northampton at home are just a different beast. So I could see them winning as well. And Roebuck against Slightholme, 2 England winners, head to head. Can't wait to watch that one as well. That's going to be so close. I'm going to go for a Sale win. On to Bristol against Saracens, Max Malin's Bowl. Again, talk about matchups. You've got that machine, that juggernaut the Saracens have. When they're on their game, they're big guns in the pack. Ben Earl and Maro Itoje and co. Jamie George can just crush you. But then Bristol and Saracens with a real blitz defence. They really are oppressive in defence. But then Bristol try and get the ball to the outside and around that blitz D. And if they're successful, if they can do that, then they're in business. But Saracens are really good at shutting teams like Bristol down. I can't see the way this one goes. Although I would say it's not fair to just call Bristol this wild attacking team, because actually they've got a bit of steel in there themselves. Stephen Luatua in their pack, their captain. And Joe Batley has been brilliant as well. And you've got, if you want motivation and you want international matchups, Gabriel Ogre's been dropped from the England squad. He's up against Jamie George and Theo Dan, the 2 guys that he travelled to New Zealand as hooker with. Ibatoye, not in the England squad, up against Elliot Daly. I think actually Bristol at home with a packed crowd could win this one. I'm going to give them 5 points and Saracens 1. Although again, and this is the beauty of the Premiership, I could quite easily see Saracens coming out on top in that one. And finally, on Sunday, we've got Leicester Tigers against Gloucester. Leicester, to me, they look a bit irresistible at the minute. I talked about how nasty they were against Northampton, how gnarly their pack is. When you look at guys like Harry Wells, the perfect Premiership player. He's there every week. He's robust. He's tough. Never going to be picked for England, so you don't have to worry about him not being available. But then you've got Ollie Chesham, Julian Montoya. George Martin wasn't even in the team, but you've got Raffel, Liebenberg. And then in the back line, Andre Pollard back, Stewart and Watson. They're a ruthless-looking team. They look, to me, and just looking at the names on a bit of paper, I know everyone was talking, and myself included, I was talking about this looks like it could be Bath's year. Leicester, I don't know, maybe Michael Checker at the helm just gives them a different feel, a winning mentality. I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be, they look a little bit irresistible. And at Welford Road, I think they'll have too much for Gloucester, who've been better than I thought they would be. They've got really good players, not least Zach Mercer, who didn't even really get mentioned by people when the England squad came out the other day. England have got an embarrassment of riches in the back row. Zach Mercer is outstanding, and he will have a point to prove. I think they'll be decent and competitive, but I think Leicester will win this one. I'm going to give them the full 5 points, and Gloucester might get themselves a bonus point, but Leicester's defence is good, so I'm going to say no, they probably won't. Very much looking forward to this round of games. Bring it on. Give me your thoughts down below. So what did I say? Leicester are going to beat Gloucester. I said Bristol are going to beat Saracens. That's 2 home wins. I said Quins are going to beat Bath. Home win. I said, and then, so Friday night, 2 away wins. Exeter and Sale. And then the rest of them, home wins. But the beauty of the Premiership is I could quite legitimately be completely wrong. I'm looking forward to the games. I'll be back on the channel soon with more previews and more reactions to it. So I'll see you then.